Dax might just be the corniest rapper of all time. If there's one thing that social media can agree on, it's that Dax is hands down the cringiest artist in the rap game. He's been mocked relentlessly by streamers, clowned across socials, and pretty much ignored by his peers. But despite all the hate thrown his way, Dax has still somehow ascended to become a sleeping industry giant with Billboard hit records, millions of subscribers, and his own headlining tour across the US and Canada. But how exactly does a rapper so hated for being corny find success in the industry, and how long can it really last? That's why we're doing a full breakdown on Dax's career and why his reputation as the corniest rapper might still be his ultimate downfall. How is Dax's rise to fame tied with Bad Baby? What really went down during his beef with KSI and Tory Lanez? And how did Dax flip his cornball reputation into an indie empire? We've even compiled the most cringe-inducing moments of Dax's career to show you exactly why so many people don't rock with this dude. But what if Dax's corny career moves are actually just a master plan to conquer the algorithm and get more famous than ever? Finally, we're gonna take a look at Dax's controversial pivot from hip-hop to country music. Is Dax going full country a sign of where the industry might be headed, or is it the ultimate sign of desperation?
I like that type of stuff, but once I wrote that first poem and showed my teammate, and I was like, wow, I'm really good at crafting words.
Dax first got attention by flipping other artists' songs on YouTube. Before he ever started rapping, Dax was actually more focused on hooping. He grew up in Ottawa, Canada, and later relocated to the USA for college. He played D1 basketball at the University of Montana and D2 at Newman University in Wichita, Kansas. During his time in Kansas, Dax also picked up a job as a night janitor, which he said had a huge influence on his pen game.
Honestly, it was the best decision I ever made. And I tell people all the time, that job really helped me do what I was doing, because when you're an overnight janitor, no one's like watching you. So I was able to like speed through my work, and I could like sneak out and go to the studio, or I could like, go chill in the janitor closet and work on my social media or writing songs and raps.
Dax's original ambition was to play pro ball, but when he discovered writing poetry, it put him on a whole other path. Right from the start, Dax was obviously plotting on how to master social media and make it so he got as many views as possible. At first, that meant making his own spoken word remixes of popular songs. The first track that really caught on fire on YouTube was Dax's flip of Drake's mega popular One Dance.
Walking down the path, man, I can tell where you going. If you ain't chasing your dreams, and what the hell is you doing?
Dax's spoken word game focused on motivational bars and positive affirmations for his followers, and he kept the trend going by flipping other hit songs like Designer's Panda and Foster the People's Pumped Up Kicks. But Dax's big moment really arrived in 2017 when Danielle Bregoli, aka the future Bad Baby, went viral from a Dr. Phil episode. Dax remixed her catchphrase, "Catch me outside, how about that," into a song, and that's what really made him pop off.
Catch her outside, how about that? Do she really wanna fight? Nah, that's whack.
Dax clearly pulled up on some substitute teacher type shit, but it was enough to rack in a couple million views.
It's your boy Dax, and we back at it like a bad habit. If you want something better, go grab it.
The success of Catch Me Outside was enough to give Dax the boost to go from doing spoken word over other people's songs to releasing his own original material. In 2018, Dax went viral again, but this time off a completely original song called She Cheated Again. That song was actually a sequel to Dax's remix of the blockbuster X hit Look at Me, in which he called She Cheated. She Cheated Again pulled in millions of views, proving that Dax could find an audience without having to capitalize off another artist's success. But while fans praised Dax's storytelling, plenty of other people just weren't feeling his content. As Dax shot up in popularity, rap fans acknowledged that he was technically skilled, but that his mannerisms and personality just came off as cringy. Dax became pretty divisive. Some people heard his music and thought it was heartfelt and positive, while other people thought he came off as lame, preachy, and corny as fuck. But the criticism against Dax really escalated when British rapper KSI decided to weigh in during an interview.
He's a poor man's Hobson, and Hobson is a poor man's Eminem. Why would anyone want to listen to a poor man's poor man, poor man?
KSI was basically calling Dax a copy of a copy of a copy. Before Dax entered the picture, Hobson was damn near universally mocked as one of the corniest rappers alive. Known for wearing colored contacts and spitting edgy lyrics, Hobson was constantly accused of biting Eminem's style. But now that Dax was bubbling up and pulling in millions of views, KSI was calling him an even worse version of Hobson. He responded to KSI's insults by posting a remix of Eminem's diss song Kill Shot.
KSI,
get mentioned, views. Nah, but real shit, little nigga, don't you ever try to diss me or I'll come for your neck. I'll be damned if a Uncle Tom corny ass nigga making vlogs try to talk if he ain't showing respect.
KSI fired back at Dax on the song Ours.
Dax, stop it, man, you ain't that. Poor man's hops in now on a box, please. You're gonna get dropped.
KSI even challenged Dax to a boxing match and offered to fly him out to London so they could get in the ring and fight it out. The boxing match never took place, but KSI doubled down on the Dax hate by releasing a series of videos where he brutally clowned Dax's content. But that wasn't the only L Dax took. At damn near the same time he was beefing with KSI, Dax was also firing off shots at Tory Lanez. After Tory Lanez declared on social media that he was, quote, the best rapper alive, a slew of rival rappers like Joyner Lucas and Don Q decided to bar up for some friendly competition. And Dax decided to jump in the fray with a diss track called I'm Not Joyner or Don Q.
Honestly, I was taught to play fair. I won't make a joke about your height or your new hair. I won't talk about your sexuality, I don't care.
And here's the thing, while Tory seemed to at least have some kind of mutual respect for the other rappers he was battling, he didn't seem to give a about Dax, like at all. Dax's decision to diss Tory Lanez backfired spectacularly. Instead of getting a response from Tory, video surfaced of Dax literally being chased through LA and getting pressed by Tory in person. Dude was literally forced to apologize on camera.
Not gonna end, my nigga. Or this shit's not gonna end, my nigga. Apologize, bro. Apologize, bro. Or you know what's going on. Apologize, my nigga. Apologize.
I got you, bro.
Apologize.
Got you, man.
Say sorry.
My bad for the
Say
diss track,
sorry.
G. Sorry, G.
All right, bet.
Oh, Jesus. Dax tried to show Tory he could bar out. Instead, he was publicly humiliated in front of the whole world.
Make sure you keep my name out your mouth or I'm gonna put my fist in yours just like Logan Paul did. I saw that shit.
Getting pressed by Tory Lanez only reinforced the corny accusations, but it also made more people pay attention to Dax's music. While Dax was getting clowned for ducking a fade with KSI and apologizing to Tory, his subscriber count was still booming. Dax had a few 100,000 subscribers in 2019, and his numbers shot all the way up to 5 million by the time 2022 rolled around. The beef may have hurt Dax from a credibility perspective, but it also supercharged the algorithm so that he raked in more views than ever before. And when you really think about it, it makes perfect sense. KSI was literally reaction farming Dax's content. While it's likely that KSI thought he was just humiliating a rapper he didn't fuck with, it also created a lot more awareness around Dax and his music. And for that exact reason, the consistent clowning and mockery only helped to make Dax bigger than ever before. Not to mention that some people were actually fucking with Dax's music. His 2019 song Dear God clearly struck a chord with fans and drew over 76 million views on YouTube.
Dear God, there's a lot of questions that I have about the past, and I don't want to hear it from a human. You made it, so you're the last person that I'm ever gonna ask.
Dax had mastered the art of going viral while making his songs that focused on his inner dialogue. His style earned him comparisons to Joyner Lucas, who had also achieved viral fame through songs like I'm Not Racist. But like Joyner, Dax couldn't quite dodge the corny accusations. His 2020 song Joker was released to bring awareness to cyberbullying. But if you check the comments underneath the song, most of the people who heard Joker were just inspired to cyberbully Dax. Ah, coworker anthem. No more Mr. Nice Guy ass song, Unk tweaking out his mind. And the sequel, Joker Returns, might even be worse. Dax obviously had fans, but the general public just did not rock with his music. The irony is that Dax's songs were pulling in millions of views, only for people to shit on them.
I'm not a mainstream rapper, I'm not a YouTube rapper, I'm not an underground rapper, I'm an artist. Dax is whatever he wants to be, you know? It's Dax!
But Dax only seemed to double down. While he continued to cater to his diehard fan base, he outright alienated wider audiences with his antics. A prime example of this is Dax's open verse challenge for his song Joker, which featured him using a bottle of Frank's Red Hot Sauce as the microphone.
You're insane. You're in pain. I can tell by what you're saying, but...
Dax may have wanted to engage his fans, but instead he opened the floodgates to being shit on by the entire internet. It was just another example of how Dax couldn't get out of his own way. He kept going viral for the wrong reasons. Not only did people find him corny, but his whole personality came off as try-hard and inauthentic. The thing is, Dax seemed to realize that his days were numbered. While he spent his early career trying to cater to younger audiences with his lyrical miracle style, Dax began to pivot his sound in a pretty noticeable way. In 2021, Dax dropped his debut studio album, Pain Paints Paintings. Pain Paints Paintings did absolutely nothing to combat Dax's reputation as the corniest rapper ever, but it did feature his first team up with Tom MacDonald, a fellow Canadian rapper with a very controversial history. Tom MacDonald's music is pretty much hated across the internet, but he has a reputation for making so-called MAGA rap, and his songs like Fake Woke and Facts featuring Ben Shapiro have earned him a notably right-wing fan base. It's almost as if Dax realized that the rap game would never fully accept him, so he decided to chase validation from a completely different audience. The ironic part is that Dax's artistic pivot also got him the biggest hit of his career. In 2022, Dax released Dear Alcohol and surprised a lot of people by leaning into country rap. While the song finds him addressing issues like alcoholism and sobriety, it also featured a major personal rebrand for Dax. And it turns out going country may have low-key saved Dax's career. Not only is the music video for Dear Alcohol currently sitting on over 150 million views, but the song itself achieved platinum status. It even earned Dax a nomination for Breakthrough Artist of the Year at the 2023 Canadian Country Music Awards. After being clowned by rap fans his whole career, Dax finally seemed to find acceptance in country music. But does Dax's country era represent a rebirth, or is it just the beginning of the end?
They're gonna make an impact on a lot of men, not only now, but hundreds of years from now.
Ever since Dear Alcohol hit it big, Dax has leaned heavy into his newfound country bag. After teaming up with country star Darius Rucker for his 2023 song To Be a Man, Dax hit #1 on the Billboard's country digital song sales chart. For years, Dax has been known as a YouTube rapper with very little mainstream success and zero industry clout. But after embracing country music, Dax suddenly had a breakthrough moment even though he was 7 years deep into his career. Dax's country success even allowed him to launch his very own headlining tour in 2025, crisscrossing Canada and the United States. When you look at the numbers, Dax going country has easily given him his most lucrative chapter yet. But he hasn't fully been able to leave the corny accusations behind. While Dax might not be following in Eminem's footsteps anymore, his new country music is still unbearably corny.
Alcohol ain't my friend, but I keep drinking cause these demons roaming. Follow me around everywhere I go.
Here's the thing, Dax may no longer be catering to hip-hop, but his change-up kinda just comes off as cynical and opportunistic. If anything, it's almost like Dax got chased out of hip-hop when he realized he'd never escape the corny allegations. That's when he tried to chase the industry's newest trend, country rap. Dax is hardly the first rapper to try and go country. Plenty of other big-name artists like Post Malone, Big X The Plug, and even Beyonce have recently put out country content. But while those artists can claim at least some kind of lineage or connection to country, Dax's genre pivot just comes across as trend chasing. And in the long run, Dax going country might hurt him more than he realizes. While his old shit wasn't hot, at least it seemed like he believed in what he was making. Now Dax comes across as a clout chaser trying to remain relevant by any means necessary. The big question is if country Dax will have more staying power than rap Dax, or if his corny reputation will catch right back up to him. Let me know what you think in the comments and stay locked in. We got more rap lore on the way.